So how do you avoid heartbreak?
Couple ways. Bro, I know a guy that was so obsessed with this woman. Didn't listen to anyone's advice. Went to a different city. Got kidnapped.
That's tapped in so many ways.
Violated, abused, broken, everything.
There's a man out there right now
on his phone.
who married a sister.
No, there's that 4 or 5.
Whose wives.
Hold
it back, please.
And then this story comes.
What's the story?
So basically,
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode of Chai with my Bhai, where we help you excel in your deen and your dunya. Today's episode is a very interesting one. Imran, you recently came across a story that captivated your mind and captivated your heart and even captivated your soul.
it scared me.
It scared you?
Yeah, it scared me, bro. Like, it scared that out of me, bro.
So please share with us this horror story so we can take benefits from it.
So, Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, my bad. So, this is a great book. It's called Ad-Dawa Dua. Inshallah, I'm going to be going around the world teaching. It's my intention. I plan to go around the world.
You know what we should do? We should make a thing, Ad-Dawa Dawa. If you don't know, get to know.
Yeah,
Every time you say Ad-Dawa Dawa, someone else should say, if you don't know, get to know.
Get
Let's
to
make
know.
that like a slogan, put it on a poster, do a worldwide tour. Boom.
Bang. Basically, this book is...
How to Whisper by
Yeah, How to Whisper. Yeah. It's a book about... I'm currently whispering now. ASMR. Anyway, sickness and a cure.
I told you.
So one of the things that the book talks about, is it talks about ishq. And ishq is...
Ishq.
So there's different levels of love. In fact, Imam Ibn al-Qayyim has a book called Rawdatul Muhibbin, the Garden of the Lovers, right? And in there he talks about, I think, like 30, 40 different types of love, like hub, wood, all of these types of things. Ishq is like deep, intense love, like obsession.
I'm talking in the romantic sense, not in like a brotherly love.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to say. Is what's unique about it is that it's only between a man and a woman, which is why it's actually very bad for people to say things like Ashiq Rasul. When people say Ashiq Rasul, it's actually a filthy term. It doesn't have filthy meaning in it within itself, no. But it's just that's a bad meaning. We don't, because that's only between man and a woman. Does that make sense? To say that about the Prophet is bad. It's bad. Ibn Qayyim, he refutes it in his book as well. So ala kullin.
It's like romance or infatuation.
It's
those are
deep.
like
It's
those
not
are
just
between.
no, but it's very. Look,
I'm saying those words are not words you can use to describe brotherly love.
Yeah.
Or like admiration for a mentor. Or
Exactly,
something. You can't
exactly.
Use, I got romantic love for my mentor.
Exactly. But remember, like a man and woman, their love can be like wood, which is like the word Allah uses to describe in Surah Rum between a man and husband and wife, right? Love, but no, ishq is like deep, like obsession, like.
Even in Urdu, ishq.
Ishq, yeah. So it's deep love, like it's unhealthy, and it can lead to shirk.
Okay.
You can love this person the way you love Allah or more.
So what's the story?
So what happened was, and as people know, the people who are like deeply in love with someone, and if they can't get the one that they want, it makes them sick. They can go to depression, people start cutting themselves, doing suicide, like, or having suicidal thoughts, crazy stuff, right? Yeah, Allah cure them. I mean. So Ibn Abbas he's doing Hajj. Abdullah ibn Abbas, the cousin of the Prophet, who's this great Imam, right? Like scholar of the Deen. He's doing Hajj. They bring him a young man. And this young man is skin and bones, literally. His skin is like a bag with bones inside of it. Like a bag of flesh with bones inside of it. He looks gone. So Ibn Abbas is like, what's wrong with him? They say, Asabahu ishq. He's been afflicted by ishq, this obsessive love. Ibn Abbas saw what it did to him. Petrified him. He spent the whole day on Arafah, which is the plain of Arafah on the Hajj, making dua for Allah to protect him from this disease. And why that's deep is because the Prophet said the best dua is the dua of Arafah. The best dua that you can make is a dua on that day. On that day, ask for Jannah, ask for, we say, from the hellfire, ask for all the khair that you want, right? He's saying, Ya Allah, inni a'udhu bika min ishq. Min al-ishq. He said, oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from this. And that blew my mind because, and then he gives another bunch of stories of like great imams that got affected by ishq. So I was like, right, this is actually dangerous.
So you read this in this book?
Yeah. And I remember one of my teachers, he used to say, whenever he used to come across like a love story or someone mentioned, he used to say, A'udhu billahi min hada. So Abdul Hakim used to say, I seek refuge in Allah from this, like whatever this is. Like, and I used to never understand.
What came to my mind was that this is obviously a great Sahabi, and no one will contest that Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu was a real man in every sense of the word, right? Yet he was seeking refuge in this type of infatuation, this toxic infatuation, deep infatuation, where we have a kind of, in this day and age, there's a stigma that kind of only affects guys who are like simps, who go too far down the rabbit hole. But at the same time, though, wait, because a thought came to my mind, which is just because he made dua for Allah to protect him from it, doesn't mean that he necessarily thought he was going to be afflicted with it, right?
Or that he fell into it in the first
Because
place.
the Prophet ﷺ used to make dua from shirk, and he was guaranteed paradise, so he wasn't going to commit shirk.
No, but
he still used to make dua.
No, 100%. But the reason why the Prophet taught us us to make this dua is because shirk can creep in undetected. Likewise, ishq can happen. You can fall deeply in love with someone, and you're not in control. And that's one of the things that Ibn Qayyim mentions. He in this book refutes ishq. He's talking about how ishq is bad, how it can take you into disbelief, how it can make you fall into zina. Like when a man's obsessively in love with a woman, bro, like he'll stop at nothing to be with her. He
Is it
won't.
specific to men?
But no, both ways. But the point here that he then goes on to make is that, but it's not something that's necessarily always in your control, because sometimes you'll look at a woman intentionally, unintentionally, and bro, it will just hit you, like it will just pow
From first look.
Allahu alam. But point is that,
I mean,
That's lust.
We know of a brother, right?
No, not necessarily.
We know a brother?
Yeah, a brother took one look and was ready to catch a flight to France.
Yeah, you're right.
No.
It started with one look.
No. He had multiple looks, he had multiple meetings.
It was all halal, by the way.
All halal.
Yeah. What was
So that's my point.
No, but it started with a look, right?
I know it started with the look, yeah, but
And that's what got dragged.
But there wasn't ishq
Bro,
at the look.
Bro, it doesn't even have to be a look. Whatever the point is, the point I'm making is that it's not in your control. Like, as in, you can fall deeply in love with someone, and it can even become unhealthy, and it's not always necessarily in your control. Because
Do you believe that's specific to virgins?
No, because he brings examples of great like khulafa of the Muslims that fell into this.
Because obviously people who haven't experienced, obviously sexual intimacy, but also emotional intimacy and everything and whatnot, like through marriage or haram relationship, if in pregnancy is haram and is wrong. But the point being that even the kuffar say this, that first experience that you have is unmatched by any other experience that may come
Not
after.
necessarily. I'll give you an example, yeah. And
As the general rule, of course, there will be exceptions to the rule.
Allah alam.
I feel like that's one of the reasons why there are
I haven't
people.
counted it all.
That's one of the reasons why there are people, whether they're brothers or sisters, who put virginity as a prerequisite or a condition for getting married to a person, because for them it's like, I've held myself back from this. I mean, no doubt there are many guys who, for them, it's just a physical thing. Like, right, another man had been intimate with this woman, I can't be with her. Like, I have to be someone who no one else has been intimate with. Which that's their preference. If that's what they prefer, no problem. And likewise with women, it could be the other way around. But also for some, I feel like it's also that concept of that emotional attachment that is made from the first experience. It can be quite hard to replicate. That's why, obviously, again, even in the kuffar world, they say that women who sleep around a lot, like, it's very hard for them to build an emotional attachment or connection with a man later on down the line, as they seemingly think in their minds that they're going to end up doing.
Look, it doesn't have to be a person who's
Getting caught slipping, stuttering like that is peak. But what's even more peak, my brothers, is when the wali asks you, what do you do for a living? How much money do you make? And you start stuttering there. And he says to you, why are you stuttering? What are you going to do? Imagine now, you can say to him, with your chest, Alhamdulillah, I've got a 6-figure Umrah company. Game over. And if you'd like to make that a reality for yourself, my brother, then listen, click the link in the description. There you'll find a video that has free training, absolutely free, how you can set up your own Umrah company. But if you would like to set up a company that, inshallah, with Allah's permission, you'll be able to scale to make you 6 figures. For that, you've got to jump on the Umrah Setup 2.0. Book a call with one of our team, and inshallah, we'll see you on the course. Now, let's get back into the episode.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a situation where the guy is a virgin, because and also nor does it have to be a situation where the guy's a simp and a weak man. I used to think that. Does that make sense? Until Ibn al-Qayyim mentions a story in his book, and he says at the beginning, he says, "Qissa mashhoora." He says, very, very famous story. And I felt so left out. Like, why did no one tell me? It's that famous. And basically, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Now, we know Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was this great Khalifa. He's known as the first Mujaddid, the first reviver of Islam. He ruled with justice, and some people call him the fifth Khalifa, which by the way is wrong, because Muawiyah radiallahu anhu was a Sahabi and he was better than him. But point being is that's how great that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was. You know, when he became Khalifa, like, you know, he wouldn't even leave a candle on after he'd finished his work, because he would say, this candle has been paid for by the money of the Muslims, Bayt al-Mal. Yeah, and he was like, now that I've done the work, I'm not going to use it. And then he'll be told, but there's darkness in your house.
That's
say,
sick.
Yeah, you say it doesn't matter because I'm here to serve the Muslims. Like when he became a Khalifa, and it's important for the context of the story, he looked at his wife and he said, look, truth be told, I'm not going to be able to give you any of your rights, because I've got big responsibility, so you're more than welcome, like, to leave, you know. And she looked at him and said, no, I'll be patient with you. As in, that's the kind of guy he was. And by the way, his wife was a princess. She was like the daughter of a Khalifa, the sister of a Khalifa. Like, and his wife was a great woman. Her name was Fatima, and he really loved her. Does that make sense?
What was the story that Ustad told in his Clapham house one time during Kitab al-Tawheed when he started crying?
Salatul Rasul.
Yeah. So it was to do with his deathbed, right? Umar ibn Abdul Aziz's deathbed. Sorry. Sorry, I remember the story. So we're going to go off track if I mention that story. Yeah, we'll leave that for another day, inshallah. But point being is that they were a great couple.
We should know episode stories from Ustad.
Yeah, so Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, strong, great Khalifa, just man, scholar. He's got a wife that he just is a great woman, princess, like Allahumma barik, supporting of her husband.
Wifey material.
And then this story comes in. So he's and remember she's a princess, by the way. Like she's the daughter of a Khalifa. She's the sister of a Khalifa. So point being is that he's this great man, scholar, reviver of the deen. He's got a wife who's like great wifey material, and they have a great relationship. And then this story comes.
What's the story?
So basically, she was given a servant, a slave girl, Fatima.
Okay.
Right?
His wife,
because at that time, you know, there was war, there would be captures of slaves, and Islam really encourages the freeing of slaves. Does that make sense? But it was there as a deterrent measure or whatever have you. So anyway, she had the slave girl. And apparently she's beautiful. Apparently she's drop dead gorgeous. Like as in, and Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he fell for her. Okay. So he asked his wife, he said, listen, gift her to me.
Okay.
This is taking a turn.
And she said, no.
Okay.
Like, give her to me. She's your slave. I can't be with your slave.
Okay.
Just give it to me. So basically, when I was reading this, like, imagine. So then one day, Fatima, his wife, decides, you know what, she's like, it's my husband. Make him happy. She told the girl, come.
Okay.
And she said, look, beautify yourself. She goes in to her husband. And she says, my heart changed. She's yours.
Okay.
He gets up. He's excited. Like, he's so happy. She walks in. He's even happier. Does that make sense? So
she reminds me to put a little disclaimer at the beginning of the episode. Say if you're under 18, parental guidance.
She removes her garments for him. And then he goes, wait, slow down. He goes, what's your story?
By the way, what's your name? Yeah. Sorry.
So she tells him, listen. She goes, my master was a guy that used to owe a debt to Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, who was this tyrannical ruler who used to kill people, right? And because he couldn't pay him back, Hajjaj took me to pay the debt. And then he basically, you know, sent me to the father of Fatima, and Fatima gifted her to, the father gifted her to Fatima, to the daughter, to the wife of Umar ibn Aziz. So then he goes to her, do you have any kids? She goes, yeah. What's the situation like? She goes, it's not very good. You know, they're struggling. He said, okay, cool. He said, put your clothes back on. He sent a message to the guy who was her original master. and he sent his son.
Hajjaj ibn Yusuf.
No. Hajjaj took her from the master because the master owed him money. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Shows the trade.
So that master sent his son. He said, okay, look, go. So he brings him and he says, look, what's your dad's situation? How much did he owe? He said, he said, okay, I'm going to take care of all of his debts. I'm going to give him money back, whatever. Like, I'm going to bring him back up. As for her...
As in from his personal?
From his personal money, yeah?
Yeah.
And then he goes, as for the girl, he goes, take her back to him. No, it's not mine. And then the girl turns to him. She says, what happened to your love for me?
Oof.
She said, you loved me so much. And he said, my love for you has only increased. I only want you more right now. But if...
The girl or his wife?
No, the girl. As in,
Okay.
she's not a little girl. She's a grown woman. She's got
Obviously,
a kid.
yeah.
But as in, this young woman, yeah? He goes, my love for you has only increased. And she goes, so then what's the deal? He goes, if I embrace you and if we're together, then I wouldn't have been from those who prevented their soul from desires. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. He said, the one who prohibits his soul from desires because he fears Allah, for him Jannah will be his abode. And then Ibn Qayyim mentioned the love for her and the pain of being distant from her, it stayed with him till the day that he died.
So she was actually the one that got away?
She's the one that got away.
Wow.
Would you call that heartbreak?
As in, yeah, look, it was pain. Pain.
From losing a woman?
You know what it is?
I mean, I would call
I
that
thought heartbreak was only when the woman actively leaves you, but there's many brothers that I know, for example, who started practicing and left behind their girlfriends from Jahiliyyah, and they were heartbroken.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah,
bro.
so
if
you-
anything, I would say that's a different type. But
No, but I'm
equally as
saying this
intense
wasn't
as
haram,
heartbreak,
but you have to-
because
you
you
have to-
actually leave them. Like that's different to
Wait,
being left.
No, but he
being
left-
left, you can come to live with that.
Right, but-
Leaving is like I miss her, and I'm the one who drove her away.
So that's what he did.
Yeah.
That's what Umar ibn Abdul Aziz did. So by that definition, I would say it's heartbreak because, and you have to understand, like this is the thing about the Salaf. innit?
Sounds like a nice guy. I've never
Yeah.
read anything about him, but I think it's time.
The thing about the Salaf, what people don't realize, is that for them, they weren't trying to stay away from sins. As in, of course, but their day-to-day was staying away from like things that were allowed but could busy them from Allah. Do you understand? So, and he brings many stories, and basically he brings other stories of like other people that went through this. Like there was you guys know the Zahiri madhab was started by Imam Dawood al-Zahiri. He had a son, I think his name was Muhammad. He was a great scholar, Imam, tafsir, this. He's on his deathbed.
Was it Ibn Hazm?
No, Ibn Hazm was part of the Zahiri madhab, became later.
Oh, he wasn't the originator.
No, he wasn't the originator.
Oh, okay.
So basically what happened was he's on his deathbed, this great Imam. And the guy comes to visit him and he says to him, you know, what's killed you? Like, what's the reason why, like, how'd you get so sick? He said, that one that got away. Because I'm dying because of her, the pain. Like killed him. And not just that. Then they said,
But let me ask you a question. Is that the severity of ishq or is that the weakness of the man?
so we're going to come to that. Because
Umar, Ibn Abdul Aziz, for example, in his situation, and Ibn Abbas' situation, it didn't affect them. So is that because of the level they were at? Or is it because ishq isn't really that? It's only deep if you let it be deep. Like if you're...
not necessarily.
we talk about that,
Not necessarily because and he brings examples that Ibrahim alayhi salam used to love being with his wife Hajar. That every night he would take the Burak, jump on it, and go to visit her. Like just couldn't be away from her. Does that make sense? And as long as it's patterned within like a healthy way, there's no problem with it. But I'm saying if like as in this is an affair of the heart.
But is ishq not when it's excessive, when it's bad?
Not
or can
necessarily.
ishq be good as well?
Ishq's got levels. No, it definitely can be good. That's why he mentioned. He mentions it can be good, and it's got levels. Does that make sense?
So now I'm back to wait. So ishq is a level of love, but even ishq itself
Ishq
has
is
levels.
an intense love.
So
But that
love has
intensity-
levels.
Yes, no, even that intense, even this.
But even ishq, which is right at the top, this has got levels
has got
within
levels. Yes.
itself.
Yeah. Because there's a level of
And
ishq.
some of them are good and some of them are bad.
Yeah, because it leads to shirk. Or it could just be like, I really, like a man who just loves his wife. Like a man might love his wife, but he doesn't like love her, like, babe, like, I just love you. Like, not everyone's like that.
That is every woman's dream, though, for
Yeah.
a husband to love her that much.
He's on his deathbed, yeah? He's on his deathbed. And he's told him, you know, that's why. So the guy said to him, why didn't you just marry her? He said, nothing stopped me from marrying her except that when I went to her father, he told me a narration. And it was a narration which they say the Prophet said it, but it's from Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, right? And in the narration he mentioned, he said, Man ashiqa, whoever felt ishq, who really loved a woman, wa'affa, wa katama, and he firmed it, he didn't carry through with it, halal or haram, wa mat, and he died, fahuwa shaheed, then he's a martyr.
Wow.
Now the reason why Ibn Abbas said he's a martyr, because the Prophet mentioned what the martyrs were, right? The reason why he said he's a martyr is because he said he chose the love of Allah and he didn't want anything that could distract him from Allah. So he died fi sabilillah on the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. He died wanting to please Allah. Does that make sense? So
You know what I find beautiful when I hear this kind of narration and stuff like that? Wallahi, this deen understood men.
yeah, understood, man.
This deen understood men to the T. Like what we're about, what we're on, how our minds work and think. And you're rewarded the greatest for leaving off that which is the hardest. And that's beautiful.
Yeah, big time, big time, big time, big time.
That's beautiful.
Big time. They wanted.
A man could live in a gutter, bro, and like as long as he's got a bed to sleep on, he comes home like, bro. I don't know if you guys probably spent extended periods of times in your houses alone, where your family's out or they're visiting family or whatever for a week or two or a month. But your house ends up a tip. Like, you don't really care about that kind of stuff. The car you drive, you could be driving a dead car, but when it comes to women, that's when really like the mind just.
Like, well, I actually know brothers. Like, come back to your point about you saying it's virgins only, yeah. As in, it's not, bro. Like, actually, I know a brother that we know going back a couple of years now, inshallah ta'ala. And his brother, who mashallah is a brother, like he's one of those like strong kind of brothers. So he had a few wives. He didn't have two, but how many did he have? A few. I didn't say 3. I didn't say 4. I said he had a few. So more than 2, less than 5. He divorced one of them.
Okay.
Now, when he divorced her, she went and got married. The day he found out she got married, he was so heartbroken.
This is in the UK.
Yeah. When we were not together, we started brought him over to the house, went to Pepe's together. I was laughing. I was like, brother, so wait. So you got 2 wives right now. And this one, she's gone.
I do not remember. When was that? A few years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago.
My man.
I don't know if... I was like, so you got 2 wives? He goes, yeah.
And then left.
And you divorced the 3rd, and she got married and now you're upset.
But,
It didn't make
oh,
sense.
but it was the second that he divorced.
It was the 2nd that he divorced, yeah.
So he kept the first and the third.
Yeah, so he was like, basically the point was, he loved her, innit? Instead of divorce, okay, cool, now she's married to someone else, she's gone, like, she's fully gone.
But let me ask you a question. What is it that caused the heartbreak? Is it the fact that he divorced her and that she was no longer in his life? Or the fact that another man married her?
No, he actually mentioned it, that he actually misses her.
Regardless of whether she got married or not. Like, even if she was single the rest of her life, he would have felt that same pain.
Yeah, he's very upset. I'm saying get sticky. Like, there's one brother I know. He was in a bit of a sticky situation. He got caught up in a love triangle. So
Triangle?
Yeah, love triangle. So he wanted to marry his one sister. And apparently she was like dream girl kind of thing, yeah. And then I don't know how, found another sister. And technically it's not haram, innit? He's not doing anything haram here. He's trying to marry both. But he just didn't tell them. And somehow they found out. And then things went mad for the brother. So before he had 1, then 2,
What's the limit?
and now none.
What's the limit at which it's like, say that you're in a marriage, talk to a sister, things going really well.
Allah knows the limit.
Then you're going to another
I
marriage,
don't
meet with another sister again really well. Like, how far can you progress it before it's like, okay, this is morally...
What you mean in terms of numbers? How many you can look into?
No, like how far can it be? Like, imagine... Or
Like, can you
actually...
can you take both of them to the wedding day and be like, no, I don't want you, I want the other one? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. And be like... or can you just take them to the wedding day and take them off, listen, I just came here so I can be from those who cut off their desires. I'm not marrying either of you.
I forget that. I don't know. But come back to this brother's story. So there's 2, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
2. So this brother, bro, I don't know what happened. He's a brother who he doesn't do confrontation very well.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So anyway, things went left. So
Mad.
basically what happened was, now this brother is looking into a 3rd. Okay, didn't work. 4th. He's on his journey. He's trying to find his...
As in 4 at the same time?
No. Now he's I think he done his lesson, but he moved on. Does that make sense? So he's deep, like marriage talks with next sister, like gone to the house.
5th.
I think this was the 4th.
Okay.
So it's progressing. So once he's in my house one time, he goes, I got a message from the first one today.
The original.
The original, like the one that go away. Bro, she messaged him saying, I just wanted to let you know I got married today. Do you know what's funny? The next girl did the same. I don't know what it's about him. Like 4 or 5 of the girls that he wanted to marry, I think maybe even 6, 7, messaged him on their wedding days or the week before they got married. Just wanted to let you know. I don't know why.
Yeah,
was
I
it
heard
like
the story as well. One of them actually messaged him like a week after she got married as well, which I was like, when I heard the story, I was like, that's a bit nuts. Like, which girl is 1 week later messaging some next guy saying, yo, listen, by the way.
Was it out of like a friendship kind of thing? Like, we used to be friends and we just tell you.
No, I think it was 2.
I think it was my wedding.
I think it
was
was
like a revenge?
No, I think it was one.
spite.
I think it was like a revenge, but at the same time, save me. But yeah, it was like a revenge, but like just so you know, I think it was like, you know how revenge body type of thing, but at the same time, save me.
Explain to me, what's a revenge body?
People say that when things didn't work out. I'm not saying it's good.
That's why a lot of guys, even in the kuffar,
This is going left.
what's
bro. This episode's
even
mad.
amongst the kuffar rather, you find that they like if a girl breaks the guy's heart, he ends up in the gym. Like people do like a before transition and after transition. It's like before and after. Before it was like he was all loved up, but then she broke his heart, so then he was in the gym. And that's why usually they say that the guys with the biggest muscles and that
I've been heartbroken.
have been heartbroken.
Maybe. So anyway, this girl, she does it. She sent him her wedding picture.
A'udhu
You
billah.
can see him. That's tapped in so many ways.
That's so mad.
But the brother didn't do inappropriate things with them, just to clarify. As in, and also they didn't have his number, it was email. I don't know.
So, what are some of the consequences of ishq, Saad? Never mind. Imran
The biggest consequence, it distances you from Allah.
or Abbas.
Oh, it's definitely a distraction. 100%. It's just
You
such a
went
waste.
through
It's
the
a huge waste of time. It's a huge waste of time. Not trying to be deep. It's just like you put so much work and effort into this relationship, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a person starts talking crazy. I know that.
Yeah.
There's one brother I know, he's after one sister. The guy started being delusional. Started saying,
Are we thinking about the same guy?
yeah.
Okay, we're
Wait,
thinking
the
about same
girl
guy.
from Russia.
No, France.
No, you're talking about.
I'm talking about what you're
Morocco.
talking about.
You're talking about Morocco.
No, Morocco.
Oh, you're talking about a different one. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Oh,
Okay,
so
cool.
that brother's had a few.
Yeah.
No, but this is
But
one.
apparently from all over the world, bro. He's in Russia.
That's a different brother.
Morocco.
That's a different brother. I know one brother that's about to throw away hijrah. He's about to throw away seeking knowledge to go wait for a girl in France for 6 years.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, but this one brother, حتى يعني أحكام الشريعة, he started dismissing because he was like, no, just go. I need to get this girl.
Mad.
And yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, some people تجاوز الحد, يعني they transgress, they go beyond bounds, and
Even there's people that have left the religion.
He's sitting there telling me, no, he's not talking about me.
Even there's
Oh,
people
are you thinking about?
that have
who I'm
left the
thinking about?
religion.
Bro.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking
هذا
about
الشيء في عمران حطان, ها?
The Christian woman. He mentions it in. He mentions it in.
Oh,
and then,
bro.
and then the kid died, right? On his wedding night or
He's not a
something.
kid, he's a young man, but yeah.
The young man. He died on his wedding night.
He died on his wedding night.
Mad.
That's kind of mad.
Another
He became Christian to marry her. He's give the adhan.
another consequence of ishq is in that sense of madness, people start wars.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard of wars, whether they be from the past or just can't really think of any in the present?
No,
but
I'll
in
give
the
you.
past.
I'll give you an answer in the present. You know the beef that was happening between the brothers in West London. I won't mention the
Oh
ends.
yeah, in the ends is always beef over girls.
Should I
But that's
mention
not really. Is that out of love? I thought that's more of just like a.
Whatever the weather. Point is, it's not for me.
Oh,
to talk,
you know, whatever. That's
it's
the whole
not for
point
me
of
to
the
talk
discussion.
about whether it's love, bro. It's in their hearts. You really actually.
If it's over drugs, then why the hell are we going to bring it up in an episode about
I'm
love?
telling you a proof that it was over a woman. That there was
okay.
a situation where brothers stabbing each other. Brothers got stabbed. I'm not sure if there was any deaths. I think there might have been. Definitely could have been a couple deaths at the very least between two areas in West London. Does that make sense? And it's because they met at Fort Park and one guy was looking into another guy's girl. And bro, they were ready to kill each other, and it became such a big thing where other areas started getting involved. Guys from North London started back in some of those
It's
areas.
not really ishq, though, is it?
My brother, I don't know if it was ishq. My
Then
point
why
is,
are we talking about an episode about ishq?
because it's about love. A guy went to war over his girl. He must
more
have loved her.
reputation.
I don't know the level it was, bro, but at the very least, I'm talking to you about how it's problematic, isn't it? Like, as
Sure.
in,
Let's agree to disagree.
a guy's going to war over a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? That's the point.
Yes.
It's problematic.
Sure.
So the greatest problem here is distract you from Allah.
Yes. Can lead to
Because-
zina
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Not only is depression, and also not fulfilling the rights of your family. Because sometimes in wanting to get this woman, people neglect their parents. Sometimes we heard about it, people violate their parents because they're at the behest of this woman or whatever it might be.
Yeah, man will turn on his mum for the woman. Man
Bro, I know a guy that was so obsessed with this woman. Didn't listen to anyone's advice. Went to a different city. Got kidnapped. Violated, abused, broken, everything.
What?
And then he went back.
Oh, yeah, sorry. yeah, I'm not talking now.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's literally what it was.
Yeah.
That was ishq. That was
His mum
actual
called me
ishq.
saying, yo. But I think that was the ashq jinn, innit?
It's ishq though.
Yeah.
He was
look
in
at
love
that.
with the jinn? Or
No,
he had a
the
jinn
jinn
inside
was
him
it.
that was in love with
No,
another
the
jinn?
jinn was in love with his wife, but
And
he
was
was
it-
in love with his wife.
So love triangle.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was peak. It was
That's
peak.
It
mad.
was a very sad
Yeah.
story.
Really peak.
Yeah. He's the one saying with Jup.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad story.
So how do you avoid heartbreak?
Oh, couple ways.
So you like, well, let's say your average 12-year-old, 13-year-old guy, he's found himself, he's deeply in love with a 16-year-old Afghan girl in year 11, and he's in Miskeen year 8.
That was an-
he
That was an
obsesses over
uncomfortable
her
amount of detail.
every day.
But just to mention his point about Star Wars, you're right, because even Cleopatra,
Yes.
she was known, but her thing was I make
Yeah.
emperors fall in love with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense? And I run their empire from inside. Even Josephine, the one who was married to Napoleon Bonaparte, she used to run things. And like some days he'd be off because she just onto him. Like she changed her mood, switched it up on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He was a serious adversary though. Yeah.
but look at that. Fell for Josephine.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
It does take a good woman to like bring down a guy who.
I mean, Allah
with a lot
Azza
of
wa Jalla
power,
said in the Quran,
got
إِنَّ
status.
كَيْدَ كُنَّ عَظِيمٌ, right?
Yeah.
The Prophet is mighty. Prophet is mighty, so of woman. Anyway, come back to the point. So
There's two different types, and then aren't there? There's one which is manufactured, as the woman intends to entrap a man
Yeah.
through ishq. And one which is natural. She's just got a feature or a quality or something that a man finds enticing. Like a woman can weaponize ishq.
I mean, you can
Or,
look at it like
or
that.
it can be organic.
100%.
It's just, yeah.
No, what you mean organic is you mean two sides, right?
Not necessarily.
No, a man
what
might
do you
just
mean?
see a woman and fall in love with her
That
without
must
her
be
intending
later,
it. She's just in the marketplace. She just
okay.
sees her and
So
falls in love
when you
with
say
her.
manufactured, you mean like it was an effort. Someone actually tried
She
it.
knows this guy's gonna be there at this time.
That's
Wanna-
what you call manipulation.
That's
Yeah.
what you call manipulation.
Manipulation.
But that leads to like love potions, stuff like that.
A'udhu billah.
Like magic and that. You know what I mean?
A'udhu billah. So the
Wow,
ways,
love is
the way to treat
drug,
it.
innit?
Yeah,
Damn.
it's mad. It's mad.
But you see
Yeah.
that video of that Iraqi where some woman calls him up and says, basically, my husband, basically she used to be married to him, and then she,
I mean, if he's still her husband, she's still married to him, right?
yeah, no, but then he basically left,
Okay.
and then went and got married to someone else, and so she calls up the Iraqi thinking it's a magician, saying that I want him back. So he's just playing along as a joke, innit, yeah? Saying, oh, so what do you want me to do? He said, you want...
She calls Iraqi thinking he's a magician.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, so she thought she was getting in touch with a magician.
Yeah, she thought she was a magician.
Which country?
I think...
Don't mention the country. Don't mention the country.
Is it
No, no,
somewhere-
I think in
somewhere
the UK. In the UK, they're called in the UK. They're from the UK,
Oh, okay.
right? But originally back home from somewhere else. Anyway, and so he's like, so just tell me correctly, what do you want me to do? You want me to make your husband fall back in love with you, and so that he leaves her? And she's like, yes. He goes, and you're okay with her life being destroyed? She's like, yeah. She could go through heartbreak. She could commit suicide. Are you okay with all of that? She's like, yes. And then he is like, after he gets to the end of it, he goes, by the way. And then I don't know what he says to her, but he switches on her. I can't lie. He switches on her. He says that really funny though.
If I was him, what I would have done is I would have told Calm, give me your husband's details and I'll do it. And I'll take the details.
No, he recorded the whole thing.
I'll just contact the husband and let him know, by the way, this is what your wife's on.
No, he recorded the video. He recorded it. He got her name, everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he goes something.
Put it
He goes,
online.
he's like, he put it online. He goes, there's women like you that destroy people.
So-
He goes, He goes, fear Allah. He said, watch what Allah's going to do to you. Carry on like this. I can't lie, he's stuck on her. But it was just mad. He was like, even he was shocked. He was like, right, you're going to such extents because you love this guy. You're happy for another woman's life to get straight. And I think they got kids as well. The other woman with this guy. And he was...
But that guy should give rights to the first, though.
Huh? Bro, I don't...
So let me ask you guys a question. Yeah, another question. We'll come to the consequences of ishq in a second.
No, not consequences. The cure is the treatment.
You want to go to the cures? Ask us another question.
Go on, ask another question. Go on.
But to be honest, this is not really... No, we'll
just
ask
ask
one. Let's say there's a brother or a sister watching.
Yeah.
That was cheeky. That was cheeky. And they want their spouse to have ishq for them in a healthy way.
Yeah.
How can you go about manufacturing ishq in a healthy way?
Right, look, Imam Ibn Qayyim said a woman should use her femininity towards her, as in a woman should use her femininity when it comes
Yo,
to her.
did Ibn Qayyim get married?
Yeah, he had kids.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say, how does he know these secrets?
By the way, you know
how does
he's
he know
got-
these secrets?
The way he talks about love, you think he's an advocate of it, but then he flips and he's just talking about loving Allah and honestly, Allah Barik, amazing.
Good book, yeah.
And it's not just this book. Even though he talks like he starts getting into his analogies.
You don't know, get to know.
Yeah, he's talking about it's just poetic, bro. It's just, why you think, ya Allah.
I can tell you got tea.
What am I right now?
I mean, on that note, Maz just mentioned the fact that the scholars, they used to say that if Ibn Taymiyyah had never done any work, no fatwa, no books, no nothing, and the only thing he did was leave behind Ibn Qayyim as a student, that would have been sufficient to know of the caliber of Ibn Taymiyyah himself. And from the students of Ibn Qayyim is Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali. So it's a trio, Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, Ibn Rajab. If you don't know, get to know.
Get to know people.
But the show got killed because somebody didn't want to do it anymore.
I thought it was the best show you guys did.
Thank you.
Look, at the end,
What are some of the cures?
okay, so the cure is deep.
For
So,
heartbreak.
like I said, the book's called The Sickness and the Cure, right? So at the beginning, guy asks him a question. He says to him, look, what do you say about a person who feels like he's suffering from something? A calamity that's going to destroy his dunya, his deen, and his akhirah is all going to be destroyed. It's a very desperate question. He's saying, please help me, Sheikh. Like, help me solve this problem. So he goes in, and you don't realize for like 400 pages what Ibn Qayyim is in. You feel like he's gone off. For literally like 80% of the book, he goes off. But the way he brings it back, Allahu Akbar, he's like, he takes you on this journey about sins and this and that and dua and, well, like such a journey. And then he goes, and this is what the question was asking about. Ishq. And he talks about being excessive. And then he mentions, okay, what's the treatment? And then he dissects and brings like a step-by-step plan for how to overcome heartbreak and how to prevent yourself from sickness. But I'll give you a few bullet points. In summary, he mentions that there's two things you can do. You can prevent it from happening in the first place, or you can treat it after it's taken place. Does that make sense? And obviously, the first one is better. Prevention is better than cure. So when it comes to prevention, and he mentions so much details, but I'm going to give you such a summary. He mentions that there's basically 4 things that are the stages that lead you from no sin to a sin. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And he said the first stage is looking. The second stage is thinking. The third stage is verbalizing whatever thoughts you're having. The fourth stage is actually walking to the sin, right? So lahadat, which is look. Khatarat, which is thoughts. Lafadat, which is words. And then there's khutwat, steps that you take towards it. So he mentions that no one ever committed a sin or no one fell in love with anything ever, except they looked first. The first stage is always looking. There might be stages before that you hear, but when you hear, you always turn to look. Or when you smell a woman's perfume, which is why a woman's not allowed to wear perfume out and about on the streets where other men can smell. So you look. When you look, you like or you don't like. Does that make sense? But nothing really activates until the look, because you might smell a nice perfume look and then think,
Yeah. I wouldn't have known about a Ferrari F8 if I didn't bring it that day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known.
Yeah,
And I saw it and I was like, oh, damn. Have to commit to this one.
I have to commit to this
Yeah.
one. It's red as well.
Yeah, red.
You drove it, right?
Black top. Yeah, I did. Yeah. No, actually, no.
When
I did.
when
Yeah,
ran out of
the
fuel.
yellow one, that one, yeah.
Basically, he mentions that, and he brings evidence from the Quran, Sunnah, and everything, and so on and so forth. Because Allah says, lower your gaze and protect your private parts. You never done zina except you looked first. So his thing is, your looks, man. So you have to really control. And he goes into that for pages. There's things that you look at, things that you can't look at. Then he mentions, okay, cool. Now, truth be told, sometimes you're going to look accidentally, right? And sometimes you might look intentionally and you've repented. once you've looked and it's gone, the memory remains. He said, now that memory, he said, you have to fight it. He said, whenever the thought comes, and sometimes the thoughts can be intrusive, he said, do not welcome them and do not allow them to, and then he goes into thoughts. And there's actually a brother that recently was... Why are you looking at me like that for?
He always wants to know which brother.
He's trying to
I think everyone wants to know
He's
which
looking at me
brother.
like, which
Hold
the
on.
brother? What's the
Yeah,
brother? Yeah, it's that look of crazy. But there's one particular brother.
No, I'm just trying to figure out, is he going to talk about me in the first person? That's how I kind of looked at it. Like, no, this is me.
To me.
I don't want
No,
to take out.
don't. It's not you guys. So this particular brother, as men do, struggling with their desires. They have moments they struggle with their desires. And of course, we know that fasting is prescribed as a long-term solution. So short-term solution, long-term solution is to get married. But what do you do if you're not married, you're single, whatever have you? He was having a bit of a tough time, and he got to a stage of becoming a bit obsessive about trying to find a wife like ASAP, like quick as possible. And literally, all he started doing was just fighting his thoughts. In the sense of what he found was that he would let the thought of like wanting a woman, being with a woman, the desire kind of start to just run wild in his head. But the moment he started to actually combat that thought, the desire fizzled out, and he was calm, relaxed, and focused. Alhamdulillah. So literally, and that's actually so profound. And here's the thing: you will not be able to eradicate the thought.
Yeah.
And this is the danger of sin, by the way. Like I've spoken to brothers that had porn addictions. Like there's one brother I was talking to. He said, "I've been watching porn for like 15 years, and this guy's practicing, brother."
Wait, how old is he?
He's a grown man. He's married, kids. Yeah. He's very.
Bro, has the
story.
internet even been around 15 years?
Yeah, it's been around since 90s, bro.
Mad.
Anyway, point being is that what he was saying was that I just keep going back to the sin because it's imprinted in my mind. Other brothers who, like, as in, like, for example, music. People used to listen to music, bro. Just the lyrics sometimes reverberate in your head, man. It's very problematic. So sins are very bad. Like, even when you do them, that the imprint kind of remains. So you will have these intrusive thoughts. The key is to not run with it. Some people, what they do is they say, oh, I'm not accountable for my thoughts, which is true.
Yeah.
You're not. But if you summon the thoughts and you welcome the thoughts and you play with thoughts, you're playing with fire, because what will eventually happen is what? Yeah. You'll go to the next stage, which is now you've been thinking about it so much, it's become sort of when you talk about it. Yeah. So you start talking about it.
How does someone control their thoughts?
It's just jihad. You
No,
don't.
the first thing you have to accept is that you can think about your thoughts. Most people don't know that. Do you know that? Most people can't fathom the idea that you can think about your own thoughts. Right? Then the next thing is you just have to distract yourself.
Yeah.
Just keep busy.
Yeah.
That's another thing you mentioned. But
That's very true, by the way, because when you're procrastinating or alone, that's when shaitan comes to you, puts all these thoughts in your mind.
There's a book I read many years called Magic of Thinking Big. It's not actually about magic, and I don't rate the name, I don't respect the name. Magic is haram. But point is, he called the book The Magic of Thinking Big. And in there, one of the things that he talks about is that you will be the way you think. He just says, think positively, you'll be positive. If you think negatively, you'll be negative. So he says the same thing, Fight Your Thoughts. Like, it's a classic book, sold over, I think, like 4 million copies. That's like bog standard personal development book that everyone starts with. Ibn Qayyim told us this like 800 years ago. Anyway, point being is to fight the thought. And then now, okay, let's just say that the thought's there. Make sure you don't talk about it. If you're talking about it, I go, like, man, this is girl.
Yeah.
Now it becomes...
It's normalized.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Not just that,
but
it has to be stopped.
Not just that, but you're rolling the dice, because if the people around you don't like admonish you for it harshly, and it's just met with like
encouragement,
welcome, then it's like now even my friends are cool with it.
Yeah, check this out.
Yeah.
Just our brothers will tell you, check this out.
Yeah.
But point being is that then the next stage he's saying is that when you're talking about it, the next stage is you're walking to it, and that's problematic. So, it's so deep, bro. Control your looks, and here's the thing now. So ask yourself, where are as in social media? If you're looking at things, one of the things that the worst thing to do is, let's just say you're a girl you're interested in. So there's one brother who was going to marry the sister. Yeah, he was wanting to marry his sister. He was speaking to her, and he obviously, now there's a discussion among scholars that should you send pictures or not, and generally speaking, scholars say a woman shouldn't send pictures because of whatever reason, right? So this brother, he received a picture from this girl, and he said she was beautiful. He was really attracted to her. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So what he kept doing was, as he's waiting for her to respond and for the conversation to develop, he kept going back and looking at her picture.
Oh, it wasn't disappearing.
No, she didn't send a disappearing picture for whatever reason. The picture thing is long, and I'm not saying it's allowed to send it. I'm just telling you what happened. So she sent a picture, and like, he keeps going back to the picture. No, a lot of brothers they do this. Like they're like, this is the girl. So maybe they'll go back and check her Instagram, check her social media, or go back read her messages again and again, whatever have you. My point is that this girl's not his wife. He's seen her once, and you're supposed to look. Let's just assume that it's halal.
If she's on social media and she's showing us on social media
This
for you to
wasn't
go
on
look
social
at her,
media.
that's a red flag.
It
My
wasn't
brother, don't do
even-
that.
It wasn't social media. She had sent it to him through thing.
I'm just mentioning for
Yeah.
my brothers that are listening.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Look, I'm not talking about what's right or wrong, brothers, here. In the sense, we know what's haram, we know
You're
what's
just
halal.
trying to tell the story.
I'm trying to tell a story.
That's fine.
And I'm trying to talk about a detrimental element of it. So what he kept doing is he kept looking at her picture. And every time he's looking at her picture, he's like, "Wow, she's so beautiful. Like, is she going to respond? Like, is she going to respond?" Like, he's getting more excited for her to respond. Does that make sense? Like, hours pass, day pass, she doesn't respond. Next day pass, she doesn't. He keeps going back, looking at the picture. Now, one of the things that Ibn Qayyim here mentioned, which is deep, he said, when you look, it doesn't help you get her. He said,
Wow.
he said the look has no effect. He said the only thing that
Raw
happened.
Ibn Qayyim. Based.
Yeah.
That guy was on
Even
it.
outside of like marriage talk, because in marriage talks you can argue like thinking about her might make you want her more. No, but I'm talking about even on the streets when you're just walking, you see a woman. When you look at her, there's no benefit that reaches you whatsoever. This woman, you probably never see her ever again. But by looking at her, you're causing a black dot to be placed in your heart. You're causing the thought to enter into your mind. You're causing all these negative emotions and things.
Not
Mm.
just
and
that, but you
hormones.
gave her the satisfaction.
And and Ibn Qayyim mentions that there's two types of patience. Either be patient with regards to not looking at her. Endure the patience of lowering your gaze
in this life.
in this life, or endure the patience of pain.
hellfire.
No. He's not even hellfire's far right. It's not even far. It's not even far. But he's saying either endure the patience of looking away, either firm the difficulty of looking away, or have to feel the difficulty of now wanting something that you can't get.
Wow. You're right.
Do you understand? He's like, bro, you just want this now. So this particular brother kept looking, and then he realized it's tapped, because number one, I've looked enough to know whether
That you want to move forward.
he knows that I'm interested. But now you look, it's like, is it even allowed now? You're excessively looking above and beyond, and you're also just building this connection.
Not just that, but it's kind of unnatural because you wouldn't look at her that much if you had met her and only seen her in real life.
Yeah.
Like you
Not
can
only
see her
that,
the
the
first
photos
time,
not
second
an
time.
accurate depiction of how she looks in real life either.
So this brother got stressed, upset,
Wow.
and he
So
had
it's like the
only ever
stevia
communicated
looking.
with her on a few messages back and forth for 3 hours. But because he had preed the picture so much, she was deep in his heart.
So does that not just go back to what we discussed at the beginning? It's just a simp, weak man.
It's not simp. It's the fact. It's remember the mind is a very.
No, I think what he's trying to point out is this is an easy trap.
It's
You
an easy
can
trap.
probably easily
It's an
avoid.
easy trap.
Yeah.
So what's the cure?
And I've seen brothers, brothers that are like serious, bro. Like respect you, like serious brothers, bro.
Yeah.
And sometimes a woman will make you slip, bro.
Oh yeah, no. In fact, if anything, I would say it's the most powerful weapon.
Yeah, a woman will make you slip.
That's why even the Prophet said, didn't it? The thing I fear most for the men is the
Sallallahu alaihi
women, and for the women it's the dunya. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could have a guy who's broke, everything's going bad, but he'll hold it together. But a sweet talking woman will come along, and that's it's all over now. That's it. Now he's missing a salawat. Now he's not fasting
Bro,
Ramadan.
seen how happens from them. We know brothers that left Islam.
Yeah, Sahwallah, actually, is really upsetting.
So come back to the point. So he mentions these 4 steps. That's one solution he mentions. Another thing he mentions, for example, is that be married. There's so many other points that he mentions. He talks really the main point of his book, which is the prevention and also the cure after the disease falls, is falling in love with Allah. And akhwallah, he just goes into that. You know what I'm saying? And I mentioned it earlier, is that the biggest problem that comes with falling in love with other than Allah is that you become distant from Allah.
Yeah.
We didn't really go into it in much depth, and we did joke around today. I guess it was a bit of a light-hearted episode. We had an episode like this, but got removed, got deleted. I think this is a replacement. I think this is going to be a replacement episode.
Don't think we can ever replace that one.
Really, that one's
I've
gone.
got ishq for that one.
Unhealthy.
So you go back and you watch it over and over again.
No, you can't. It's
I
deleted.
used to, but now it's gone.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, it's deleted. It's banned.
Which one's that?
The marriage expectations. Anyway, point being,
what?
false marriage expectations, something like that. Shattering your marriage expectations.
Oh,
Anyway.
the one that actually got
So
deleted.
anyway, well, like it's like I just deep we're laughing about this whole heartbreak thing, but
Yeah,
people are suffering, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say to him now. He's right. Imagine there's a guy and his girls left him or whatever. She started practicing.
But the worst thing is, we know what that
So
pain
what we'll
feels
do
like.
is for that guy,
Holly.
there's a course that we did, or rather that Imran did, called Recovery from
No,
Heartbreak.
no, no,
I'll give them free access in the comments, inshallah.
I don't even.
And also for those of you that actually want to get married to help
Just give
you,
my course with free.
then
charge money.
Oh,
what I'll do is, bro, no one bought that, bro. We did a whole campaign. I recorded the video. I bled for that
I was
course.
gonna say,
Not a
if any,
single person.
this guy did your house
Not
for
a
that
single
course, bro. Do you
person.
not remember?
Not a single person
On the
purchased.
train, remember?
Bro, come on, you
Man
don't
with the
remember?
flowers, everything.
Wait, no.
Bro, punch the fan.
No, what's it?
I need a prop.
So anyway, coming back to it, the point is, we'll put that in the description. Guys, if
Because heartbreak can be one of the most painful things to go through. It can tear your whole world apart. Make you want to commit suicide.
if you struggled from heartbreak, we'll leave the link in the description for that. Or if you want to get married, but finances are stopping you from getting married, then inshallah you can set up your own company absolutely for free and start making money and get married.
And if
Other brothers have got married.
you do have money and you want to get married, but you can't find the one, you can go to cinematch.com.
And if you're trying to marry an Arab sister and you can't speak Arabic, you can go to Arabic code.
Arabic.
Oh, you mean
yeah.
learn Arabic?
Yeah, learn Arabic.
But if you want to know how to find a girl in the Arab world, we've got a brother right here.
And if you're trying to do hijrah with her, then shout Hamza. And if you're trying to rent a car for your wedding, then shout Jimmy. On that note, brothers
If you want to
and
make
sisters,
money for selling cars, shit.
and if you want to record a podcast about how you got married, you can come here to Podstar. With that said, brothers and sisters, it's been an interesting
If you want to
episode.
go and find brotherhood,
I don't know if this is going to get released. If you're watching this, well done. It got released, and well done for making it to the end of the episode. We'll see you in
I'm
the next
coming
episode.
around the world, inshallah, one day. I don't know
سبحانك
when.
اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته